This is Eagle Al, and today we're going to go over the camp notes. Got to talk about Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown just being unstoppable. Cooper DeJean struggled. Ainias Smith best practice. CJGJ knocking dudes, getting some big hits. But let's get straight into it. All right, so before we get straight into the camp notes, I got to talk about something that came out literally from one source, Philly Sports Trip, that there are rumors swirling that we are looking to trade Slay. One is completely false because that's $33 million against the cap, so it's just not going to happen. And two, Slay can still play at a high level. I get it. We excited for like Keely Ringos, Isaiah Rogers, Quinyon Mitchell, young guys just in general, Cooper DeJean, but we're not getting rid of Slay now. Slay can still play at a high level. He's still a captain on this team, and he can still provide really good things for the team. I get it. Some of you guys might not like his opinions, like on his podcast, or some things he say political on Twitter, which he probably don't even know he's saying political stuff. But Slay, far as on the football field, is still that guy. He's still that guy. So just watch what you wish for. You know, a lot of people want to run him out so quick. I mean, again, just watch what you wish for because he's probably going to go down as one of the best Eagles not safety corners ever. He's going to go down in our history as what, top five, definitely top five, more than likely top three corner. And don't let him get a ring. Do not let Slay get a ring here because he might be heroed as the best corner to ever step in Philadelphia. So shout out to Slay, man. He ain't going nowhere. But let's get into these camp notes, right? So you already know we always got to start with the injury report. So we had Matt Hennessy back, Albert O, abdomen, Caden Stearns, knee, John Ross, concussion, Tyler Steen, ankle, and Johnny Wilson, concussion. They all did not practice today. Something big happened in practice. This is a huge thing for Quinyon Mitchell. So Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay were actually the outside corners, and they moved Slay into like the nickel or something like that. I guess it was the formation the Eagles were in, but they decided to go with Quinyon first and Slay first time. And mind you, we coming towards the end of training camp, so this is a huge thing. This letting it be known like Quinyon, he's playing at a high level. He definitely is because they could have easily went Isaiah Rogers and had Quinyon sitting or even Keely Ringo, but they went Quinyon Mitchell. And I don't think this is one of those things like he's a first round pick. We're trying to get him on the field. I think he's playing at a extremely high level, and we're using Quinyon how we thought we'd be using Cooper DeJean because Cooper DeJean was the versatile DB, but it's turning out that Quinyon might be the versatile DB, and he might be the Swiss Army knife. Quinyon might be the Swiss Army knife that we thought or think that Cooper DeJean can be. So Quinyon just keep finding ways on the field. You know, he couldn't start on the outside. He found his way in the nickel just to get on the field. And now I guess we evaluate him everywhere to see what he can do and really test that skill set. Jalen Carter also had a good day. He had like pass deflections on Kenny Pickett. He blew up runs. He had a tackle for a loss on Saquon Barkley. He struggled a bit. I'm not gonna lie. He struggled a bit with Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton still has Jalen Carter number, like far as the one-on-ones, and that's good for Mekhi Becton. But overall, Jalen Carter's been doing this thing, been unstoppable. Look like he's going to have one of those seasons. So what we need from Jalen Carter is, can he keep the motor? You know, we seen that quote-unquote rookie wall hit towards the end of the season. But to be fair, a wall hit everybody towards the end of the season. So can Jalen Carter be like a 7-8 sack guy and stay active during the whole season? That's something we will see going into year two. But he been saying, I've been working on my, conditioning. I want to stay available for the whole season and still play at a high level. That been a big word for us, like with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, conditioning. So we'll see if they can last during the whole season. AJ Brown, man, AJ Brown was just something else. Couldn't be stopped. Him and Jalen Hurts, again, unstoppable. Like they just could not be stopped. You want to go deep to AJ Brown, cool. You want slants, cool. Even the Eagles posted some videos of just AJ Brown looking magnificent. You want to put Quinyon Mitchell on them? Sure, he's going to beat Quinyon. Want to put Slay on them? Sure, he's going to beat Slay. He's beating Isaiah Rodgers. Hell, they start putting backups on him. He just couldn't be stopped. They put Josh Jobe. They like, somebody slow this man down. It just wasn't happening. AJ Brown was having one of those days. DeVonta Smith had one of those days too, but him and Quinyon was more evenly matched. They even did some drawing back and forth. Like one time, Quinyon got the best of DeVonta Smith, draw back and forth. Then DeVonta Smith got Quinyon, and then Quinyon's like, now that's a route. That's a route, my boy. So look, it's good to hear the drawing back and forth in Quinyon. You know, he's still going to talk his talk. Seemed like a little bit of Quinyon Mitchell personality is coming out too. He had a video of him like dancing or something like that Chris Franklin posted. It was pretty cool to see Quinyon go into that mode of like showing his personality, getting more comfortable. But back to the receivers though, because I already talked about Quinyon. The receivers were cooking. The receivers were cooking, man. And I want to talk about a guy that was cooking too. Covey. Covey was cooking. He was cooking Cooper DeJean. And I'm not saying because Covey was cooking Cooper DeJean, because we're going to talk about him, that Cooper DeJean struggled. Cooper DeJean could not guard anybody. You know, there was like tweets coming out like, yo, we don't think he's like physically ready. Like him and Brent Covey was matched up like 3-4 times, and Covey won every single time. And then you had Ainias Smith, and shout out to Ainias Smith. He had one of his better practice. Not only was he cooking Cooper DeJean, and like Paris Campbell got some on Cooper DeJean, I believe, but Ainias Smith was cooking like Avonte Maddox, whoever was on him. He was cooking, man. Ainias Smith, I gotta salute him. Now I'm gonna keep saying this about Ainias Smith. Since CJGJ said what he said, and a lot of people like took that the wrong way, he took that as like, it seemed like motivation. Like, okay, this is what people think about me. This is just not talking heads saying this. This is how my teammates feel, that I've been playing like trash. And he's been up a notch, up a notch, up a notch. So this was one of Ainias Smith better practice. But again, back to Cooper DeJean, and just in general, he could not guard anybody in the nickel. And I hold back on going off on Cooper DeJean because this is like his second, third practice. This is one of his worst, if not the worst. Because look at my last video, I said Cooper DeJean was good. But this is one of the worst. He just couldn't get it right, and he could get physically ready because the toss are going to happen. If he can't guard in a nickel, a lot of people gonna say, well, switch him to safety. And he don't seem like a dude that want to play safety. I genuinely believe that he wants to play corner in this league, and he want to, quote unquote, kill that stereotype. But he just wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. Because if Covey, Ainias Smith, and Paris Campbell was giving you problems, I always say this. Imagine the Cowboys. Imagine them just lining up CeeDee Lamb on Cooper DeJean, and Cooper DeJean is just straight food, and he can't keep up. Now, the thing is, if Cooper DeJean is not ready, we do have the corners that can get ready. So you still got Avonte Maddox. Say what you want, he could come down in that nickel and be that guy. So we'll be fine. Then you still got Quinyon Mitchell if Cooper DeJean needs to be redshirted, because again, the hamstrings are probably one of the most annoying. And if he not feeling right from that hamstring, and with the corners we have, we'll be fine. And I believe we still got Tyler Hall stashed on quote unquote IR. And I think they did that purposely because that's a guy they don't want to cut, and they had to make room for Cooper DeJean. But if Cooper DeJean not ready, I guess you can, after 4 to 5 weeks or whatever, you could take Tyler Hall off that IR, elevate him to the active roster, and red shirt Cooper DeJean if he's not ready. But I don't like to hear that he's just having this terrible practice, terrible practice, man. Not good at all. He was fooled. He was fooled for sure. While we talking about DBs, I gotta talk about CJ Gardner Johnson. Yes, he popped Grant Calcatera and DeVonta Smith. Now, we all love CJGJ, but you gotta cool out on hitting DeVonta Smith hard, man. We know you're gonna bring that intensity. You're gonna do what you do, but you gotta chill, man. Don't hit DeVonta. You can't hit the star like that. We need him for the season. But it's good to see CJGJ bringing that energy. There were points like the defense wasn't all that good, and he was going off on the sideline and was very vocal. And that's a guy we need for sure. Nolan Smith, I want to talk about him a little bit too. It was one of those weird things. He didn't have the best day pass rushing. Lane Johnson was just dominating him, but he had a good day far as in coverage. Like he had some pass breakups. He was all over the field, but not as a pass rusher, which is strange. The talks about him possibly changing positions might start happening because with him, I just don't see the moves. Like I don't see Hassan Reddick that people were saying they seen in college. I see a speed guy who can, get around, show a lot of effort. I can never deny Nolan Smith effort, but I always question, is he too small in the big leagues for that position? I mean, I don't even see like Bryce Huff or Brandon Graham. I just, see a guy that can get the quarterback from time to time, but I don't see a dominant pass rusher at all that a lot of people hyped him up to be far as coming out of college. I just don't see it. But again, he had not his best day rushing the passer, but in coverage, he had his best day. Saquon Barkley looked like he got nicked up during training camp. It looked like he had like a lower back or a leg injury or something like that. But it was very minor because he stayed on the sideline with his pads and stuff on. He was still signing autographs and stuff. So it's nothing to panic about. He didn't go back in after the quote unquote tackle for a loss and with the back and leg injury, but he just stayed on the sidelines. There was no trainers or I didn't see any major news about it. So Saquon be perfectly fine. They probably pulled him for a while because they don't want it to be major or they don't want to aggravate something that don't need to be aggravated. Just let him sit out. He's cool. He's good. He should be back today. I believe it's training camp today. So he should be back today. Jalyx Hunt, keep hearing his name in the positive way. He got a sack on Kenny Pickett. Jalyx Hunt continues to show that he's possibly ready now to be in the rotation, not just be a special teamer or a red shirt guy. So Jalyx Hunt continues to move up in the depth chart. Let's keep it on pass rushers. Brandon Graham got a sack on Jalen Hurts at the age of whatever Brandon Graham is. He's aging like wine. He's still getting sacks. He's still being productive, even though he's going to have more of a limited role. He's just not going to be like, oh, let's get him in the game because he's been with the Eagles so long. It's like, nah, he still can be productive as far as an edge rusher. And as I mentioned about Jalen Hurts, again, just on the money, man. 23 or 28. A lot of beautiful balls. Pause. He threw it to like A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith. He got sacked a couple times, but just throwing the ball and being smart with the ball. Yeah, Jalen Hurts been on that type of time. But this was one of the few practice. He almost threw a pick. I heard one hit like Avonte Maddox right in the chest, and Avonte Maddox dropped it. Sometimes not throwing picks during training camp, take a little luck because it sounds like Avonte Maddox, a guy who rarely dropped a pick. Jalen Hurts still, even if he would have threw that pick, 23 or 28, still phenomenal numbers, man. Still doing good. But let's keep it on like receivers a little bit. Well, this guy's not a receiver. Tight end EJ Jenkins, he's starting to get first team reps, so that's letting you know what the team is think about him. Maybe he can steal that tight end 2 from Grant Calcatera, because we know Calcatera is basically tight end 2, but you can't rely on Grant Calcatera health. But EJ Jenkins showing so far he can stay healthy and can still, play at a high level. Yeah, his knee was hurt, but I think if you called him up and this was like regular season, he would have been fine. But that was just the Eagles being, precautious, because remember he got hurt during the game and I think he came back in, but I guess they like, it's training camp. We know what you're about. We're gonna let you sit and rest. So EJ Jenkins continues to make a name for himself, but it's good to see him get first team reps. But speaking of a guy that's starting to get first team reps, Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean, didn't hear too much about him, like that amazing practice he had the other day, but he got a lot of first team reps. That's really good. And I heard the defense was decent, even though Jalen Hurts went off and the offense looked a lot better, but the defense was still decent. But it's good to hear Nakobe Dean starting to get some first team nods. And let's keep it on linebackers. Devin White, far as what I read, seemed like this was one of his better practice. I mean, sack, tackle for a loss, PBUs. He was all over the field, Devin White. Devin White is looking good. He's looking regular season form, ready to go. So it's good to hear Devin White's name and doing positive things. So Devin White, he's cooking up. He's cooking up, man. I know a lot of us are down on him, 50-50 on him, but we'll see what he do during the regular season. But this was one of his better practice today. Jordan Davis was making plays, getting pressures. There was one pressure he possibly got that could have been a sack, but we know you can't hit the quarterback. So Jordan Davis, doing this thing against Cam Jurgens, them two is having a really good battle, because there be times where Cam Jurgens is getting the best of Jordan Davis, but there's times where Jordan Davis is getting the best of Cam Jurgens. So I guess this is more about Cam Jurgens than Jordan Davis, because this is good to hear, especially with Kelsey retiring, that Cam Jurgens is holding up. I think it's one of those things, him playing guard and him having to block bigger, defensive tackles, and being more to that assignment, and then also had to get his weight up for the position at guard, is really helping him flourish at center. So Cam Jurgens, keep it up. Jordan Davis, keep it up as well, getting pressures, getting sacks. But it looked like Cam Jurgens is giving, Jordan Davis a run for his money. Patrick Johnson continues, to make plays. He's even doing it during training camp. He got sacked. So Patrick Johnson name has been in the mix. And I told you guys, like, Patrick Johnson is one of the guys that's keeping me calm as far as with the edge rusher, because I thought Nolan Smith was going to be at a certain level, but Patrick Johnson is stepping into that role and being that guy and playing at a high level. Speaking of the Johnson brothers, pause, let's talk about Fred Johnson on the offensive side. He had a really good day. I heard he had probably one of the best blocks in camps. Mind you, it was against Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks is a smaller guy. It was a run play, but I mean, they say it was like probably the best pancake of training camp. Like, he laid Eli Ricks up, and I'm proud Eli Ricks got back up. Dude that's double his size just pancaked the mess out of him. But Fred Johnson, he's been looking good as far as run blocking, pass blocking. Need a little work is fine, but Fred Johnson, as far as run blocking, has been really, really good as far as that backup right tackle. Got to talk about Trevor Keegan a little bit. I'm going to wrap it up on Trevor Keegan. Trevor Keegan dominated Milton Williams. You guys know I love Milton Williams, but they were 1v1s. And Trevor Keegan to slow down Milton Williams, I mean, that's impressive. It's definitely impressive. This Trevor Keegan guy, man, he's an interesting guy, because next year, I know he's going to be on the bench this year, but next year, there's no way we can have him on the bench. No possible way. But he did get hurt. He was limping a bit. The way my notes came to me, I'm not sure if that was after, like, he was limping, did he get back on the field? I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Then dominated Milton Williams, or this was all before, but I know he got hurt for sure. So that's all I got for you guys today as far as camp notes. look, camp is interesting. Camp almost over. You know, we about to have a week 3 game soon. I think Saturday against Minnesota. This one is gonna be at the link, but I just can't go to preseason games. I will be watching. I will get my breakdown. Um, then it's gonna be cut day. It's not like how it was before. It's like they just gonna cut everybody in one, which is I don't agree with. You should cut it down little by little, but cut day is gonna happen. We'll get my reaction to that because there's to get it to 53. There's gonna be some names that's gonna shock us. Definitely gonna be some names, and then we're gonna go over like who made the practice squad and stuff like that. But again, that's all I got for you guys today. I think we got 1 or 2 more training camp days, and then we at it, man. Today's August 21st, man. That September game is coming real soon, really soon. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm up.